Welcome to this nonprofit and voluntary sector quarterly podcast. I'm Danielle Bath, editorial assistant at Sage Publications. Today I'm speaking with Mark Hager, associate professor of philanthropic studies at Arizona State University's School of Community Resources and Development. He recently published a research paper in Nonprofit and Voluntary Sector Quarterly entitled Engagement Motivations in Professional Associations. The article won the American Society of Association Executives Outstanding Academic Publication on Membership Organizations Award. Congratulations, Mark, and thank you for joining us today.
Great. Thank you, Danielle.
So your article is about professional associations. Is association just another name for a nonprofit?
Well, nonprofit is a wide and messy space. It includes many different flavors and varieties of organizations, including organizations that provide services, those that promote causes, those that help us celebrate our culture. It's a really wide assortment, kind of a catch-all category. Associations are a particular type of nonprofit organization. Associations have and represent their members. Examples include unions, the National Football League, the American Medical Association. And so in the case of associations, you've got a nonprofit that's usually just a front office that serves those members and tries to keep them happy. So in my work, I was interested in a particular kind of member association called the professional association, where members all work in the same field, and the association provides them avenues for professional development and networking and represent the field to a broader audience. The American Medical Association would be an example of a professional association.
What specific aspects of professional associations were you interested in studying?
I'm interested in what motivates members to engage with their associations. Many people might, at minimum, be a member of their association, but they don't do any more than just pay dues and list their affiliation on their resume and don't do anything more than that. Others really engage in and really do the work of the collective and are much more engaged than just people that are simply pay dues and are members. One way they do this is they spend time working on conference activities or presenting content at association meetings. Another indication of engagement is a decision to contribute money to the association above and beyond membership dues. And another is a willingness to speak positively about the association to colleagues who might want to become members.
What different incentives do people have to engage their associations? Or more specifically, what did you mean by public versus private incentives?
Well, I try to tap into a long debate about why people might choose to join and actively work in their associations. The debate is between these private motivations and public motivations. Private motivations are the what's in it for me. Is this going to help me advance my career? Is this going to give me programming that will help in my personal development? Private incentives can be very powerful motivators, and some people say that they're really all that matter. Public incentives, on the other hand, are the what does this association do to advance all of us? Like, does my association help raise understanding of issues relevant to my field? And does it lobby on behalf of issues that are of public concern? Those kinds of things. So my main question is what kinds of incentives, public, private, a mixture of these things, might help us understand member engagement with people's professional associations?
What data did you draw on for your study?
I used data that had already been collected by others. It was collected by the American Society of Association Executives, which is itself a professional association. And they collected data from 5 of their member associations, so individuals within those 5 member associations. 3 of these were in the engineering field, one being the American Society of Civil Engineers, and 2 were in the healthcare field, one of those being the American College of Healthcare Executives.
What did you find out from this research?
Well, the results weren't totally straightforward, so I invite people to go take a close look at the paper if they're really interested in the details. But generally, I looked separately at the engineering associations and at the healthcare associations to see the relationships between these motivations and these different types of engagement. And for the engineering associations, the public incentives were more important than private incentives in getting members to donate money beyond their membership fees. Neither public nor private incentives helped us understand whether engineering association members were engaged in the activities of the association or not. However, the data suggests the members who value the career opportunities that their association brings were much less likely to volunteer their time to the association's happening. So that was sort of a surprising finding. That said, both public and private incentives are related to feelings of commitment to these engineering associations that I studied. In the healthcare associations, it was the private incentives that motivate the charitable contributions and not the public ones. So a real difference there between the healthcare and the engineering associations. Volunteerism is not generally explained by either the public or the private incentives there, although volunteers do seem to value the leadership experience that the association brings to them and are put off by information about field developments. Unlike the engineering associations, commitment to the association is not explained by these kinds of private incentives. So one of the main takeaways emphasizes these differences between professional associations and just these two fields that I studied. I really caution about making sweeping generalizations across professional associations generally.
To close, what different audiences would be interested in reading your article?
Well, organizational and nonprofit scholars, certainly, but I'm also speaking to people who run associations, people who are trying to maximize their services and their members' commitment to those associations. If we can understand better what makes our members and our associations tick, then we can do a better job of keeping people engaged in them.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you for sharing your research with us. The paper, Engagement Motivations in Professional Associations, is published in the April 2014 issue of Nonprofit and Voluntary Sector Quarterly and can be found online at nvs.sagepub.com.